morning, everybody. Good morning, Reverend Wild Bill, a little twisted, Wolf Moon Connections. How everybody doing this morning? Hello, Craig.
Morning, brother. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. So this morning we were talking about shamanic and metaphysical practices. Interesting topic you chose.
Yes. So I've been kind of struggling with this. Well, not struggling with it. It was just kind of bring for thought that if our emotions are magnetic, this is what we're receiving, this is what we're storing, this is what we're gathering.
Well, what I
Which
thought
also,
was interesting is the topic you chose, because shamanism, I did not know, is the world's oldest spiritual path coupled with the practical strategies for survival. I think it's a nature-based path for direct revelation, meaning that each person has access to spiritual and spirits without need of any structure. But what's really interesting is shamanism is a cross-cultural spiritual path practiced in every continent of the world.
everywhere.
You know that?
Yeah.
And it's also remarkable, similar everywhere throughout the history, the little contact between shamans, widely divergent parts of the world. But one thing did not know that all attempts to wipe out shamanism by the Nazis, that blew my mind.
I was not aware of that.
Yes, all attempts to wipe out shamanism by the Nazis and various organized religions have failed. I did not know that either. Although some people consider shamanism a religion, it has no dogma, no pope, no sacred book, no universal set of rules, no commandments. And it's like, I did not know that either. In fact, many indigenous shamans around the world are Catholic, Judas, Buddhists, and practicing members of many different religions. That was interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you very much,
Um,
honey, baby. Yeah, that just blows my mind.
yes, it's not singular, right? Like it is practiced by multiple different genre of beliefs and the freedom of choice and freedom of thought and
Right.
harnessing that energy and being one with
Well,
the
shaman,
rabbit.
now this is interesting. Shaman is a word from Siberia. I did not know that, which means the one who sees or
Right.
penetrates to the source. Shamans are local leaders who perceive the fundamental nature of the universe and sees the big picture. So that's very interesting.
Yes. It's definitely a practice I want to learn
Something that you can just do
and be a part of. Um, but again,
And it says, and I think Mary even said that spirits pick the shaman, because I think not everyone who begins their training succeeds in becoming a shaman either. And I think it says in the facts that some may even die in the process. Isn't that crazy?
yeah, it might be ODing on some level, but I've heard of it in like I don't know where it was in the eastern side of the world, but where they in rituals they have people that have died from a ritual. Now, I'm not sure if that was shamanism or not, but some of those rituals are pretty heavy.
Yeah, they are. They are. And it also, I think, shamans were know where to access power and information from nature. They study, communicate with plants, animals, and elements in the spirit world. And I noticed another thing too, they're excellent problem solvers.
Yes, they are.
Psychologists,
Yes,
storytellers, teachers, and hypnosis. That's crazy.
where are you finding all the? Oh, you guys get a little book in front of you there of information.
Yeah, let me share this link. Here's the link. It is see, Reverend Bill said he went on a spirit journey. Here's the link, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, Terry. Nice to have you on the show, brother. So there's the link I'm looking at. So yeah, it's just crazy.
And I think even with shamanism is manipulating and being one with your element, and wind bending and moving water with energy and intention, and it's an amazing sight to see when that actual connection happens.
Yeah.
And you can see that, okay, this is a different level of knowledge, what we're witnessing.
Right.
And then there's no doubt, right, that there is manipulation with energy if you put that intention in forth.
It also says, Craig, and I stress this with paranormal, I stress this with Bigfoot. It says a person who has taken a weekend workshop in shamanism or read a couple of books should by no means call themselves a shamanic practitioner.
No, you need years and years and years for that.
Well, I know people, it's like, I'm a shamanic practitioner. And I'm like, shut the front door.
Yeah. It's a way of, and that's what, putting names on a label or labeling that. I think anyone could be a shaman. It is just called upon you. Diving into those metaphysical gods per se, or source energy. And it's just taking the name out of it, because a name is an opinion, and an opinion is an emotion. An emotion don't matter.
No.
In a way.
Well, this is where you come into, because the practitioners may use sound healing with a drum or a rattle, feathers, tobacco, crystals, or other tools. Baby, can you hand me your rattles, please? And restore lost parts of itself. So, for example, Mary's got rattles. Oh. Rattles. But she's a natural healer. She was born that way, right?
Yep.
And she's got plethora of years of practice. Yeah, a little twisted. I never studied shamanism either, and I didn't know anything about it. And I thank goodness that Craig picked this topic. Yeah, Mary said it's not a fun path to learn either.
No, it's there's a lot of real from my understanding, you definitely go through a lot of realizations and just mind-blowing what you need to go through to make life so simple, with our intention of being happy for the day and only for today.
Right. Well, it's like Reverend Wild Bill. Look, I practice shamanism, but I don't claim to be a shaman. I'm just a non-denominational priest. And I'm the same way. You know, I'm an ordained minister, and I do non-denominational too. But I saw it like a little twisted. I thought it was by Native Americans. I did not know it was across all cultures. It shows how ignorant I was. That's a good
Yeah,
topic,
I
Greg.
I I agree. That was my initial thought, that it was just native native indigenous um, groups.
Right?
Yeah. But then I did find out that yes, it is all over the place, and is practiced by multiple continents and
Yeah.
countries, and it's almost like a Rosicrucian. It's almost um, and some that was actually told by a friend that paganism and shamanism and thought as part of the mythical um, deities.
You know what's interesting, Craig? Is their principles of integrity, their code of conduct. Check this out. I will work in sacred alliance with spirit and to be informed guidance at source and not my own ego and offered service to others. I will recognize the wholeness inherent in every person or group or circumstance that comes from healing and to honor whatever form and whatever which pain is presented to me. I will be mindful of speech throughout and action and their impact of building relationships both in present and throughout time, future, and past. I will be respectful of others, even in their differences. I will work with compassion and non judgment. I will do no harm and to avoid any sexual misconduct in my work with clients. I will maintain clients' privacy. I'll be honest with clients and other practitioners. It will be truthful in the manner in which I present myself in public relations and advertising. I will refrain. Let me take a sip. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I will refrain from posting any content that advertise the use of plant medicines which are not legal in the country where the website is maintained. I will offer fair and appropriate fees. In service to others, I keep my own life and personalhood in balance to the best of my ability. And it says if they do not follow these practices, they're not a true shaman. Beware.
Um, yeah.
Oh,
And
thank you, Reverend Wild Bill. Hello, Irene.
do we have any questions from down below?
I'm checking. I haven't been looking. Reverend Wild Bill, we may have to have him on one of the shows. He sounds like a very interesting person that can really help add to it. It's a fascinating topic that you picked because I really didn't know too much about it. Because I'll be honest with you, a lot of people call themselves that, and I'm like,
Yeah, you
I
really
know,
need.
right?
Yep, you really need to, and that goes for all of it. You know, people. There's so many people now opening up to gifts and wanting to. Well, they're wanting to profit off of it.
And I tell you another thing I told Barry. They want to be somebody.
Absolutely. And that's okay, long as it's not affecting others.
Well, Craig,
But
you didn't ask to
it
have what
does
you
give,
have.
sorry?
You didn't ask to have what you have.
No, not at all. Not at all.
You
And
know, and I didn't ask to have what I have and to do certain things that, you know, and a lot of people it's like, well, you ought to be blessed. I am blessed, but you know, and I know it's a curse to
oh,
know certain
absolutely.
things that we should know about people. And
You know some of my gifts, and one of
Irene
them is
says hello, Craig. So yeah,
one of my gifts is predicting death, and kind of family member's friend. We warned her there last year to go get checked out, and I don't know if I've mentioned it before, but um, she didn't get the proper blood work done, so
wow.
she didn't listen and kind of blocked us, because we were really
Scared.
absolutely. Um, you're introduced to this guy that's a medium and he can do all these things, and he's telling you to go get checked out. So she didn't really do that, and they're gonna probably pull the plug,
Wow. I hate to hear that. That's sad.
and that's within the year. So
Well,
that's we can't help them all, right? But no, so we don't like these gifts. It's not amusing. A lot of times it's heart wrenching and crushing to see people that can't change, can't learn, aren't open. Um,
right.
but it's part of it, right? But there is so many others that do open and do learn and are more mindful of their words and what they mean because of being enlightened and learning and asking questions, I guess, to find those answers, which are right in front of us. Right now, we have the technology where we have the answers right in front of us.
Right.
So that has created that kind of vacuum sucking of people learning different modalities or trying to learn. Some have them just automatically, and that's really where it's supposed to come from. Um, but we definitely can be enlightened and be empowering and learn to live that way with intention,
Right.
which does change that energy field, right?
No, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
Reverend Wild Bill, you've always got an open door on any of my shows
Yep.
with the channel. But the thing though is that with all the fraud we have in the world today with people with abilities, is I rephrase that, with people with no abilities, they wanted that quick dollar. And
Yep.
people that want help seek people with no abilities that think they have abilities because they need that help and they want to believe they're going to get help, right?
Yep.
Corey Roger, and it's sad. It really is.
Well, and it can be extremely dangerous as well, right?
Yes, absolutely.
You're trying to um, you give intention by what you say when you're in a reading and doing a reading. So it needs to come from the right place. And if you don't have the capabilities to deal with a situation, then don't open that can of worms, right? Like you really need to know what you're doing before you try to help somebody, knowing that
Yes,
you have some
because you can cause
abilities.
more harm than good.
Absolutely. And in most cases, yes.
Yes.
9 times out of 10, you know?
Right.
And that part of that ego, I'm sure, right? But it's still out of love as well.
Yeah, like Irene says, if people don't want to accept help, there's nothing you can do about it. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. But you don't expect miracles, especially when they don't want to listen. And you're right, Craig. You can't, right? Because there's times where I'll be out there on TikTok and I'll be like, I'll get somebody, and, like a grandmother. That's my granddaughter. Tell her I want to give her a message. And it's like, I don't know this woman. I ain't going to tell her that, you're telling me to tell her something. Because what happens when the person don't know you? Excuse me, I'm losing my voice again. And then you go to tell them, hey, I'm sorry you don't know me, but your grandmother wants to tell you a message, and they flip that on you. Who the hell are you?
Yep. You don't have that right to talk to me about anything. I didn't ask for it.
That is correct.
Right? And that's got to be the golden rule, right? To respecting other people's privacy. I guess there's a time and a place for everything. And, if they're screaming at us, again, depending on what it is, but we got to be careful in that scenario because we are putting other people at risk.
Right.
For triggers, because clearly that's going to cause one, right? You have a random person coming up to you and, talking about a past loved one. So, yes, it's about safety to us and them when it comes to readings and blocking that energy out and not visualizing it. Because again, our intention is what our energy is, right? That's us. That's our positive energy. That is the universal energy. So when when it's all put together, it's amazing. And yeah, I like it. How do we stop it? Where the thoughts come from? And I don't, I'm trying to combine them both, right? And learning is the only consciousness that can thrive. Because if you're not learning, you're not growing, right? And that's part of our blueprint and part of our intention. But we're doing it to ourselves. Because that creates our reality.
Right. And I tell you, true shamans have some real abilities. They really do.
And exactly. And I know Matthew will be showing some of his wind bending videos and shamanic work soon. Where he is one of the teachers teaching at the school. So yes, he is amazing, and hope to see him soon.
That's pretty cool. It really is.
I did see it, and yeah, it was.
Well, that's like what I
It
like
was
about Reverend
interesting.
Wild Bill, because let it be known, he says, I'm not an expert and I'm still learning as I go. I'm the same way, whether
Yeah,
it's Bigfoot, paranormal, no matter what field I'm looking into, I'm never going to become an expert. I mean, I may become well adversed
right.
and well knowledgeable, but never an expert.
No, no. Learn every day, and that's what keeps us young, right? Looking for
Right.
those answers.
Well, you also talked about a minute ago, Craig, about people's egos in this field. And you know how big those are.
Yep.
Look at me. Look at me. Craig, we both know that it's not us. It's source of God.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Right.
At least that's where I feel it coming from.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And I don't know why I have them. I don't know why I chose this life or timeline, but I know there's a reason, right? And clearly that reason is to help others.
Yeah. See,
And
Irene said that she asked you to help with the case, and you're still there if she needs help.
the missing person case.
I don't know. She's a case that she asked you to help with.
Sorry. Oh, well, thank you, Irene. Yes. Anytime, Irene, of course.
Yeah, I love Irene to death. She
Yeah,
is.
she's
She
amazing.
is got such great abilities, and
And
her heart's so pure.
yes.
You
And
know, and
genuine.
that's so rare to find in people.
Yeah, very genuine. I got to be 10 years now ago when we were dealing with your apartment. And you've been able to keep it at bay. So that's yeah. We had long discussions of different kind of practices and paranormal activity with the forest and the undead forest, and wanting to actually do an investigation there. Like that would be incredible. But I don't think that's ever going to happen. But it would be, the energy would be insane, and the paranormal activity you would get there would be should be off the hook.
And within like 30 seconds to a minute, it all stops. If you want to watch it before you play.
Okay, let's see here. Yeah, no, I totally agree. And people in the comments, Reverend Ron Bell, a little twisted, and Roger, you know, that's how we actually learn. So, absolutely, it's just people just don't understand, and you know, you do have to question things because that's how things work. But people just don't. They don't question enough because if people say you're a shaman and you're going to seek help from them, how long you been in practice? Where'd you get your certification? How long you been in training? Where did you train? Who was your master? You know what I'm saying? You got to ask those detailed questions.
You really do, yes.
Yeah, you really do. You should. Mary sent us this video.
There, Irene, remember we were talking about that? That's the place.
So let's see what this video Mary sent us here. Yeah, like Reverend Ron Bill said, don't be sheepled into believing everything you're told. Absolutely, Reverend Ron Bill. All right, let's see here. Share screen in action.
See the hail? Yeah, it's hitting. Oh, it's gonna hit my car. Yeah. Get back, Edison. Get up here. Yeah. It's hail. It's ice pellets. See it?
Yeah. I want to go in it.
Wow. I feel like the
tornado coming out.
We are in a tornado right now.
There's a tornado where?
It's an alert, severe warning right now. So we gotta be real
I
careful.
mean, Chesapeake can probably get tornadoes though.
You're correct, but we still need to be on watch.
But these are more like a ditch area, so we don't get something as bad.
Well, it doesn't mean it won't happen, but
Yeah, I'm just saying.
a lot of times it kind of skips over this town. So
Yeah.
see all that on the
The tiger getting scared.
with the hail.
Can
I go
on the hill?
No, honey, it's ice going to ping you in the head,
Well, that's hurt.
and it's hitting my car. Look,
No, I want
you could end up denting it. Hopefully not.
No, can I go in it? Pray. Please, I got a towel.
Dear Heavenly Father, Jesus Christ, the Holy Spirit, we ask that you protect us from this weather, Lord.
And
We ask that you protect the car, and Dad and Father, our house, our cars, our children,
our animals.
all of our neighbors, Lord.
Hot,
We ask that you just be with us right now, Lord. Get in here before you get back.
Look
Look at the. Keep this going. I'm going to grab one. Hang on. Look.
Can I grab one?
Look, it's ice. Ice. That's hail.
Oh, God. That feels like that's hurt.
Yeah.
Here, Mom.
Look.
Can I play? Can I go in the way?
Where is this?
I don't want you getting hurt. Look at that. This is a little.
Can I pick up
That's
the
hail.
wheel?
This stuff can get bigger. I've seen hail before. That's like the size of a softball. That's really damaging hail. This stuff.
Orange juice. Eddie, say hi to the camera. Hi. It's stopping a little bit.
Yeah, God loves us.
Look.
Thank you, Lord.
Look. Thank you. I've seen you. Can you eat hail or?
Is that not crazy? She prayed and it stops. Isn't that wild?
Yeah, it is.
And she does that with everything. And, at first I thought it was a fluke. I'm like, whatever, Mary, Yeah, but she proves herself over and over. It's crazy. I'm telling you.
And that's Mary?
That's Mary.
All right.
That was how long ago, Mary?
That was about 4 years.
About 4 years ago.
It was. I can look at the date.
Yeah, I mean, it just.
It was.
That's why you listen. She'll, send down a lightning bolt on you.
Oh, hell yeah, she will.
Right?
June 25th, 2023.
Yes, Mom, I'll do anything you say.
She don't need a voodoo doll.
No.
Craig, I do healings and thunder and lightning goes off. I've done it a few times.
Yeah.
Where they, when it's going, it's crazy. Some of the stuff.
The lights turn off.
Yeah.
Oh, she'll fry electronics. When she gets mad. Oh, yeah.
Never
Why you think I
mess with
call
a
her
woman.
Master?
Never
Yes,
mess with a
Master.
woman.
Yeah.
Whatever you say. Yes, dear.
Yeah, it's crazy.
No. Just say whatever you want and everything will be fine.
So
It makes
it's
life
just,
a lot easier if you just bow.
yeah.
Remember when we asked questions in religion. It's so
Yeah,
clear.
go ahead, Reverend Bill. What's your question, sir?
Yeah. Who is it?
He said, I call my wife boss. I call my master.
Yeah. Yes, Master.
So, but it's interesting because a lot of people don't know about things and do your research. But if
Yeah.
people claim to be something, go out there and do a little research about what it is and who they are and what they claim to be. And just be careful. Don't attack the person. Just question about their training and backgrounds and ask for references before you get the
Oh,
service. Like I talk about you. You're always on TikTok. You could see your work. That's like the first time that, when you and I interviewed together, you're like stand up. And I'm not going to say what you told me, but nobody knew about what you described on me about my sickness, about what you saw on my house when I was little, you know, and it's just like, you're in. Nobody knew that.
really, it just, again, where does that come from? Right? Right, it comes from source.
That's
And
right.
that's what we assume it to be, or God. Um, but where does that come from? If we only know what we know, how do you know? You don't. Like, we don't know. We assume.
Right.
That's a belief. The only difference, obviously, with source and frequency and energy, we can feel that difference, right? It's about feeling that difference. And that's the difference, at least for me. That's that proof, right? That, okay, now I'm praying, I'm, asking for guidance and um, looking towards source for energy. I can feel that energy, and that's kind of what I go with. And there's, we can receive good and positive and negative energies, right? Which can affect us, but the more we're mindful of those positive energies, that creates, again, a reality.
No, absolutely. That's like, how many times during readings we tell people about how to take time for themselves and meditate, right? And, meditation does several things. It increases emotional strength, it reduces stress. I think it helps with focus and concentration. It promotes better decision making skills. It helps with better sleep, helps with memory. Check this out. It improves circulation.
It does,
It
yes.
boosts mood health. It increases self awareness. Ladies and gentlemen, especially women, it slows down aging,
Yes.
regulates mood, helps with anxiety, and promotes happiness. I mean, isn't that crazy?
And it doesn't, there's not one negative thing against
No.
meditation. And then you add frequency into there, it becomes a kind of a secret sauce.
Yeah.
The secret sauce of intention.
And that's what I tell people, when, Craig, I tell people all the time, you need to go hug a tree. And they look at me funny. And it's like, no, I'm
Well,
being serious.
especially if we live in Canada, it's cold outside.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Like, I was looking at that hail going, we get that all the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but that size, yeah, they come down at least once or twice a year.
Wow.
But they do get bigger. The biggest I've seen would be maybe the size of a quarter. maybe a little smaller.
Yeah, I've seen it up to a golf ball.
Really, eh?
Yeah.
Wow.
And there's been some places in America where they got up to a baseball. Is that crazy?
Absolutely. Mary, where were you? All you had to do was go over there and say and pray and get rid of those golf balls.
It's wild. But, a lot of people don't understand the benefits. Ladies and gentlemen, back then, they didn't have pharmaceuticals
Nope.
companies. Hey, Evo, how you doing there? They didn't have go to the medicine cabinet and take an aspirin.
No, you're right. The doctrine of the church and how it was written and how it was meant to focus on financials as well as in doctrine and fear. From my understanding, Jesus didn't talk about fear. He talked about happiness and love and healing and compassion. And he faced fear.
Hey, Becca, nice to see you this morning. She
Amen.
says the truest power of healing comes when we are connected with our mind and body is connected with the earth. That is correct. That's where you have that
Yeah,
circuit. Is that correct, Craig?
absolutely. That's really where you started with that grounding.
Yes, grounding. Thank you.
Yeah.
Proper
And
terminology.
once you ground, then you can really go anywhere with that, right? Like you can work with your chakra energy. You can work with your anything you set your intention in. Will happen if it's meant to, and it just happens. The more you manifest what we want, the more we get it. So if we want happiness, we can have happiness. We just need to choose to have it.
A lot of people choose not to, and it's sad, right? Because it's right there in reach.
Pardon, I didn't hear you. Sorry.
So a lot of people choose not to.
Yep. No,
It's sad.
um, a lot of us do get comfortable in those old shoes, right? Um, there's so many different roads to choose on a life, in a life cycle. And, I know for myself, there was a time where I was really stagnant in my early 20s and just waited for life. And I thought that's what I was supposed to do. But life happened. Life happened. It just I wasn't involved in it, right? And I kept waiting for something to happen, but it only happens if you go get it. It only happens if you strive to learn and seek. It doesn't happen for those that are sitting, not doing anything, not wanting to learn. And there's, with all the different cultures, obviously, really, we've all come to some kind of um, opinion that we're all talking about the same people, same time frame, just tweaked a little differently because of perception. Um, I think the Western side of the church has I think they've all kind of missed the mark in some way because it's coming from their opinion, so they're biased, right? Their opinion. But all the different religions are all the same. They all have their own opinion.
Right.
And how they interpret the prophets and Jesus and God and the different names. I just, that it's almost like when we're doing paranormal, prayers work, and it's the Catholic prayers that work for us. But you go to Tibet or you go to, any Middle Eastern country, even, they're saying the same thing or saying something similar in their language to help rid the house of any negative energy. But it's not our prayer. So why does our prayer work and theirs also work? And that part of that belief and intention that we're all talking about the same person. And when we're connected that way and we can feel that energy, it's all the same energy. We all have that same energy. So we're all talking the same frequency.
Right. Right. No, absolutely. Reverend Wild Bell said the same thing. So yeah. It's just be careful, ladies and gentlemen, who you seek help from and what people call themselves. I'm not saying everybody out there is a fraud or anything like that. Just be careful of what you do and who you talk to. Just do your research. There are a lot of good people out there that are true, that have the good abilities, that are actually the real deal. Just do your research. That's all.
Very true.
That's
Yes,
the main thing.
research is key for sure. I will, gotta always keep that in mind too, right?
Yeah, well, it's like, the non-believers. What color am I thinking of? What number am I holding up, below the camera? It's just like, I still get people that test me that, don't I, Mary? And it's just like, you're holding up 2, now 3, now 5, now 1. And they're like, you try to explain to people, it doesn't work like that all the time, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
Come on.
I've never gotten that one right.
Yeah. Well, we
Because,
have somebody that's on our channel, and she tests me all the time with fingers. But anyways, but yeah, that's that right, Terry. So true.
yeah. Yep.
Reverend Wild Bell says, how many fingers am I holding up? 10 or less.
I think
He's
it's
laughing.
one. I think
Does that
it's
count
one.
your toes, Reverend Wild Bill? So
Yes. So it was an interesting conversation. We'll have to get into it a little deeper. I think it warrants a little more study.
yeah, absolutely. I think so. I like to have somebody on here and we can talk to about it.
Yes, miscommunication, and
It happens.
it happens. And of course, my computer died again, so I had to redo it with my phone. But that's my norm, right?
Yeah, ain't nothing but a thing, boss.
So just when we look towards source, and I always visualize when I'm looking towards source, I'm looking kind of to my left in an upward angle. And remembering our words have meaning, right?
Right.
And being mindful for others and being there for others that may need our help. Yes, I think we should do one on crystals too. We need to do a few.
Yeah, that works.
So yes, just to go back to shamanism, I think from what I've seen is very interesting and very intriguing. And if they are a true master, then it could be incredible, right? And as long as, again, it comes to that belief and practice and intention to what you're doing and healing. Like I do a lot of quantum healing. I do a lot of remote work, and the feeling from being in front of me or away from me doesn't change. It's a frequency, really doing a lot of the work, but with Reiki and doing intention, that allows that other part to come in and be more trained in just that field. We need to learn, right? And learn and keep learning.
Right.
To be amazing and shine. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, it's been an awesome show, Craig. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget we got a show tonight at 7 p.m. with Mary and myself, and another one at 9 Eastern. So tune in for that. Any last words, Craig?
No, I'm thankful for everyone that came, and thanks for the responses. It's been a beautiful, beautiful morning. Until next time.
Bye-bye. From coast to coast, around the world. Godspeed, everybody.
to a YouTube channel near you.